Hey strong people, Kalle Beck here from StartingStrongman.com. Go to store.startingstrongman.com to get everything you need for Strongman. Wow, what a day. World's Ultimate Strongman, the pinnacle, you know, it's that new up-and-comer. There's a lot of hype. Did it live up? It just ended, like 3 minutes ago. I happen to be lucky that my mom is here watching my son, so once it ended, I can actually do this right away instead of 3 days later. So I'm going to get right into it. Day one started off yesterday, which is, it's far in advance, but it was like Thursday night they did the deadlift. It was a deadlift for max with rising bar, deadlift bar, calibrated plates in front of a big old tall building. It went a little bit something like this. It opened up at 400 kilos, which was impressive. And the most impressive thing about that is that everyone hit the opener. Some of us definitely a max, and a lot only hit the opener. But 400, like I remember when I first got into sport in it was 2008, 2009, Kevin Nee was at a Giants Live in Norway, and he did, I believe, 410-ish, 10 kilos. It was just over 900 pounds for then the Strongman world record 10 years ago. Yoko Ahola lifted 390 to win the max deadlift, even 10 years or so before that. And now 400 is an afterthought. 400 was considered the pinnacle. If you're a 400 kilogram deadlifter, you're like one of the strongest people in the world. There's not that many people that have hit that weight, and 14 of them did it in Dubai. It was an afterthought. It's crazy. The level that everything keeps going is insane. So then the big news at 400, so people got 400, was Terry Hollins, Krzysztof Radzikowski, Iron Bibby, and Belsack, and Luke Stoltman. Missing and also Brian Shaw, who missed. Then the next jump was 20 kilos, and Brian Shaw missed that, which he says is a post-hamstring injury, PR, but it's still shocking for all of us. But, he did injure his hamstring at the Arnold. Some talk of it was, the mat was still kind of wet from cleaning up blood from the athletes, but same for everyone. Conditions in strongman are not perfect. They never will be. They should be improved upon. That is on the promoters, but it's just a part of sport, and it's one of the variations that, things are going to be a little off. That's how strongman is. So he misses at that, which was, shocking for everyone, because Jerry Pritchett, Shivlikov, they also got hamstring injuries at the Arnold as well and pulled much bigger weights. Not their highest weights. I think they both pull 440. But everyone heals at a different rate. Some people use more hamstrings to deadlift than others. And Brian Shaw has also been plagued by multiple hamstring injuries. Pretty much ever since 2017, it's been very hit or miss. But that's all I'm going to give on that one. So, then, at 420, we had Raman, who else? Yeah, and Mateusz Kielczykowski. This was another Mateusz Kielczykowski. He hit 420, big lift, didn't look that hard for him, and that was a huge. Anyone who hit 420, they got 9 points, splitting all the points together, where you got just 4 for hitting 400, because so many people hit that and had to, share points on it. So that was 5 big points for Kielczykowski. I'm pretty sure I said in my preview, I could go back and look, but I'm not going to. One of you, I'm sure, will correct me if I'm wrong. I said to win this entire contest for Kielczykowski to get his first world title, he was going to have to hit around 410, 420 kilos on the deadlift, and he did. Did he win? We'll get to that at the end, but you probably already know the answer. At 430 was a big lift for Tom Stoltman. This got him 2 more points on everyone else. And man, he is improving. I think he looks so big since he did the incubator program down in Dubai. He looked the most acclimated to the environment because he's been there the longest. And I think that was huge. I thought going in, him being down there so often would be a big advantage, and he looks like he's just been eating and training. He looks immensely bigger than he did at the last time we saw him at the last Giants Live contest. He's getting freaky. He's always been a freak, but he's getting real freaky. 430 kilos, pretty sure that's a PR. Huge lift for him. 440, we had Mikhail Shivlikov look great. I don't know how he just keeps doing it. He tears this, he tears that at different contests, then he still does it. It was kind of all over the place. It wasn't a smooth pull, but it was a strong pull. Jerry Pritchett also got 440. Looks a little banged up as well. It's a long season. These guys have put so much wear and tear on their bodies. They got 12 and a half points apiece for that. Then Rano Hanla with the pull of the day. I mean, his form is crisp, just perfect. Hit 450 kilograms, one of the most impressive deadlifts I've seen all year. And I want to take a quick little note just to kind of really delve into this on the deadlift. I look at the comments I get that other people get that I just see overall on Reddit, my Stern Strongman Facebook group, and all over social media. And people are like, what? No 500, no 501. World records should not be expected. They should be, wow, someone finally did it. Just like when Eddie Hall did it a few years ago, they shouldn't be expected. He also beat the current world record before him by, I think, 35 kilos. That doesn't happen. Things get chipped away. People do another fraction of a second. They do 1 or 2 more kilos, maybe 5. I don't think any major world record has ever been beat by that amount. And he's really, he's kind of perverted the fans' expectations on what should happen in a max deadlift contest. And the promoters have to be to blame here because they saw all the attention that Eddie got for deadlifting 500 kilos. It really boosted up the sport. It's going to be talked if we write down strongman history for years to come. That's going to be a turning point in the sport on what made it big. If it ever, if it continues to grow like it will, that would be one of those moments. Like when the Ultimate Fighter, they had the reality show, and they had the Ultimate Fighter reality show and the Stephan Bonner versus Forrest Griffin, and everyone tuned in. It just got all that, made UFC explode. I think Eddie Hall's 500 kilo deadlift will be the same. I'm talking about it. He didn't even compete. He's commentating. But people's expectations are just off. And having the athletes do a max deadlift now 3-4 times a year is going to make that, it's going to beat them down. It's very hard. They're pulling, Rano pulled 990 pounds. It might as well be 1,000. I think he was good for a little more. I think about 470. But it's just going to keep, you see all these injuries the athletes are getting. They've torn hamstrings at the first contest of the year that had a max deadlift, which is still affecting their max deadlift at the end of the year, from March into whatever it is, October, 9-ish months later. I think I completely messed up that math, but anyways, so if the promoters keep trying to force it to happen, it's never going to happen. We got, when it's ready, when it looks like someone can do it, it will happen. Stop forcing it. And there's all these competing promotions. They're trying to get it to happen at their show, and they're going to make sure it never happens if they keep just forcing it on the public. I think you need to give it a little chill. 2020, let's just put the max deadlift with standard plates and everything from a normal height on the back burner. Let everyone heal up, get ready. Maybe a year, 2-3 years from now, when someone's really ready for 501 or something, let's give it another run. Anyways, enough on the deadlift. The next day, we went into the truck pull. It was a 30-meter course. It says it's a 23-ton vehicle. And I like that it was 30 meters. I don't think the athletes like those 30 meters, but there's a lot of things that I liked that World Ultimate Strongman did this weekend. They're really trying. They're the newcomers, so they have to, if they want to be on the level of World's Strongest Man, the Arnold Classic, they need to kind of twist things, try a different little take on stuff. And they've done that They didn't do it with the max deadlift. That's pretty much just what everyone does. But they made, so most truck pulls are 20 meters, and they end up being decided by, a couple tenths of a second between the top four. Let's make it 30 meters. Let's separate things a little bit. And I like that they're trying that. It definitely affected the rest of the events for the competitors because they were so drained. I don't know what the weather was in Dubai. I'm going to try to actually look that up really quick while I'm doing this, but yeah, it definitely drained them. Kielszkowski, he was kind of all over the place, but he still had the fastest time with 55.90. And then behind him, surprisingly, was Radzikowski. I think this is because he's been doing so many Strongman Champions League, and they kind of do these kind of events. I think he's a little more accustomed to doing vehicle pulls than the other athletes. We're not seeing too many of those on the, Arnold. You almost never see them. The Arnold or the Giants Live, they're all in an arena, so they can't really do a vehicle pull very well. And then Brian Shaw had a good performance, which is good to see, getting in third place with a minute 11, 5 seconds off Radzikowski, a minute 06. Terry Hollands also, you got to give Terry a lot of credit for pulling 400 kilogram deadlift. He's not that many weeks removed from doing a full-on bodybuilding show, like legit dieting down to that, and still getting fourth place and being one of only four people, four to finish the truck pull. Awesome performance by Terry. Unfortunately, it seemed like that was so exhausting for him that he withdrew from the rest of the contest. He's doing Masters Strongest Man at the official Strongman Games in Florida. You can go to, I think it's strongman.games or trainstrongman.com for more information on that. So he might be like, okay, these were the events where I could really do, damage. He wanted to put a good performance in the truck pull. I'm sure he was exhausted. Obviously, 180 kilogram log is not going to go very well for him at this point. So just, shut it down for the next contest. Still put on a show, and good for him. Gutsy performance by Rano Hanla. It looked like only one leg was really firing well. I heard that, he had an Achilles injury previously. So he's really only driving off one leg, but he was the last to go, and he just made sure he almost got to the end, but he was the furthest person to not finish, getting 27.2 meters, which was 9 points. It was the equivalent of Kielszkowski's deadlift, where he picked up 9 points with a spectacular performance in what would be his week event. This was big for Rano Hanla. I think one of the problems is that those extra couple points really cost him for the rest of the show. I think, just guts, a couple people probably stopped a little early. Him getting that last 3 or 4 meters, I think really took a lot out of him. He did not look good at the end of it. And his performances from there kind of suffered. I don't think he performed up to his standard in the log lift, etc. Yeah, and, it's just unfortunate. But, that's just kind of how you have to go. Sometimes it costs you more points overall by pushing for those extra couple points. In the log lift, it was 180 kilos for reps. That's about 396 pounds. A cool looking log, kind of rustic, made by Standard Submit out of Australia. I think they made pretty much all the equipment for this contest. Great job by those guys. They definitely set the standard for over there, all the way over there for equipment. And, it was tough because the first two performances were very good. We had Iron Bibby's conditioning actually looked a bit better than normal, I would say. Getting 5 reps, which is pretty hard to do in 60 seconds with a tough log. I'm surprised he could do that many. Looks like he is improving overall. I just think he's such a talent. But there's just stuff he just needs to move somewhere where there's more strongman, more equipment, and people, even not just necessarily a coach, but train with other strongman. I think if he moved to the UK and trained, with the Stoltmans or, even some old retired guys, I think he would be a absolute force on the scene. It's just, I don't think he's going to progress more than just being very hit or miss in events from here if he just continues to train with himself and his friends. But yeah, awesome performance by him, 5 reps, and who was it? Was it Shivlikov? It was Belsack, I think. Someone else he went with that got 3, but and it was like it kind of skewed because they were the last to go. Yeah, it was Shivlikov and him that went, and they both got 5 and 3, which are going to be solid performances. And it's just, but they went first, so they kind of skewed what we expect out of people. We had 0 from Jerry Pritchett. It's just been an event that's been very hit or miss for him. And he got last in the truck pull, so that really hurt him after a pretty solid deadlifting. Also 0 from Rahman. He pulled. It was interesting because he pulled on the log, and it looked like it was this brachialis or maybe a bicep. He kept clutching, but he couldn't even pick it up off the tires. And then in the Atlas stones, he looked phenomenal. But I'll get to that later. It's just I don't understand how you could not pick up a log but load 7 Atlas stones if from a bicep or forearm issue. Anyways, but yeah, he wasn't able to get a rep. I think he was pretty beat up as well. Karan, man, 2 just at lockout, didn't get credit. He shouldn't have got credit for him, but that was just, he lost so many points there. If he would have got those 2 reps, he would have got about 6 points. So he lost at least 6 points by zeroing that event. Absolutely brutal. He was, he was on the standard Karan path the rest of the events. If you look at just right up there in the 4th, 5th, 6th, middle of the pack in every event range. He just needs some time to heal off. Hopefully these guys get some rest before March, before the Arnold. 1 rep apiece. Radzikowski, he went against Kilskovsky. You're thinking that's going to be good, but again, he's had bicep surgery not that long ago and just a little off. One of the interesting ones was when Brian Shaw was going against, I believe it was Tom Stoltman. Was it? No, well, yeah, it was irregardless of here. So Brian, I think he was going against Hanla, but so Brian Shaw got 2 reps. The first looked very good. The second he had to grind out at the top, it looked like he was a little off balance. Then the third, he was like this and just missed. And they actually gave him credit for that rep he didn't do because I don't know what was said. I would love to hear an official ruling on how this was all decided because the stage was uneven. There was a problem with the stage. I have another, I'm going to get to that in the carry medley, but the stage is not rated for a strongman show. I think that was the same side of the stage that Iron Bibby was on, and he was dropping logs from overhead. I think it created a divot. I've been at shows where this happened. It sucks. It will affect your pressing. It shouldn't happen. The promoter should have a stage where there could be absolutely nothing's going to fall through. We've seen this recently, and I just don't know if strongman can be on a stage that's just not made out of like solid concrete or something. We saw it at the Arnold last year with the Husfeld. Brian had a problem with it. He said with the yoke at this show, the World's Ultimate Strongman last year. The yoke's lighter this year, and my theory is because the stage isn't rated for more weight, that it's a weight that I would use as an 80 kilogram competitor. But regardless of that, I don't think an athlete should get credit for a rep they didn't do. If the athlete wanted to retry his score in the other lane or a different spot after everyone else went, that's generally how things go when we're at an amateur contest. I think Brian Shaw is a very good competitor. I do not blame him there's big money on the line for all those points. I don't blame him at all. I blame the judges and the promoters from caving and giving in to a veteran athlete. I don't think I think if we're at a more established organization like the Arnold Classic or Worlds, etc., I don't think the ruling is going to be the same. And it gave him about 3.5 points, and that's huge. And also, JF Cron was on that same side of the stage, and he had a couple that he couldn't quite get at lockout and stabilize, and he wasn't given credit for those 2 reps. If he was given credit for those 2 reps, he gets 6+ more points. He ends up with, at the end of the day, 39 points. Another 6 points, he'd have 45. He would have been in 4th place. Instead, Brian Shaw ends up in 4th place. This is huge money. This is thousands of dollars on the athlete's line. And I just don't agree with the ruling. You can let me know what you think or whatever. I wasn't there. I'm sure there's more to it. But from a fan, a spectator, someone who follows the sport, I just think that was a mar on the event. Luke Stoltman went, and man, I told you in the preview, his pressing is underrated. He's so crisp with his clean. 4 big reps, second place. Kielczkowski also 4 reps. Looked a little off, but they get 12.5 points apiece. Luke Stoltman, incredible on the day. A 400 kilogram deadlift, his lowest performance. He gets 10 big points in the truck pull. I guess was he? Oh, so he actually was the furthest that didn't make it. He got 4th in the truck pull, not Hanla. My apologies. So yeah, that's big points right there. Just the Stoltmans looked on top of it. But yeah, a good. Then the carry medley, which was a 300 kilogram yoke. Again, I think that's because the stage isn't rated for more. That there was a divot from the log, I think kind of shows that. Into a 180 kilogram shield, both 15 meters. You had to run the yoke down, run all the way back to the shield, and then run it back. And man, there were some fast times. Fast times. And one of the problems when an event is so light and the shield, I think there's a couple bicep injuries because you basically just have to grab it and go. I think if you were going to do this event and you didn't have, the stage wasn't rated for more, you wanted to test some sort of speed and endurance here, I think you do like a 4 implements, just front carry, no yoke. The yoke was 300 kilos. It was completely irrelevant to the event. As an 80 kilogram competitor, I've done 300 kilogram yoke, and I'm not very fast at it, but there's other 80s that could do it in they could do 15 meters in probably 7 seconds. So it's just, it's not what it should be. 1640 with that much moving is what Novikov did it in. I'm not the one that ever says Strongman is too light. It's just, that's beyond too light. So yeah, 1640 for first place. Right behind him, Luke Stoltman just pipped Kielczkowski for second in that event with 17.72. Kielczkowski 17.76 for third. GF Caron 1850 for 11. He dove over the line, gave it his all. He wanted to pick up some big points after the close 2 misses on the log, which really cost him. Shaw, he looks slow on that, but not too bad. 20.84. That's only good for 6 points. Tom Stoltman, good performance, 19.34 for 8 points. Then we go in the Atlas Stone, a 10-stone series, going from 100 kilograms to 200 kilograms. I love this event. The 5-stone series has gotten kind of stale. I think a lot of people can agree. They made it heavier a couple years back, making the last one about 200 kilos, if not sometimes 220 at some shows. But everyone's so strong, they kind of just blaze through it. The 5-stone series, I think, was introduced in the late 80s. Mid 80s, so pretty much at the start of Strongman. And it remained the same for so long. I think this 10-stone series is the new 5-stone series. And there's more people that finished it. They gave it, I think the time limit was too long. It's just, I understand where they're going. They wanted people to finish. They were a little, I guess, they're a little cautious on that anyone would finish. But 3 minutes, none of the strongmen are going to go through 3 minutes. They just can't. I think 90 seconds would have been perfect. That's what I would have put the time limit on. And maybe they will next year. 2 minutes max. But the first person to finish it was JF Caron with 1:39. It was an absolutely awesome performance. Then Brian Shaw did it in 1:02.21, just missing out on that 1 minute mark. Then, oh my God, Tom Stoltman, 40.70. That's incredible. That right there proves 10 stones is not too much. I love the event. The last run of the day, I'm going to go back and go through some of these, but the last run of the day was 1 and 2, which was Kielczkowski. I think he had about an 8-point lead, but he did tear his bicep in the carry medley on that shield, probably picking it up really quickly. and it looked like it was really bothering him. He was so slow with each stone and deliberate. He's trying to get his first world title. There's $75,000 for first place, and I think he really wanted it, but he still ended up getting, I believe, what would be a solid performance, getting 8. But he did it just so slow. A smart way to do it, having to really brace each, just grit through that pain. Once it's detached, it's detached. You can't really do anything else. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. He did 8 stones in. He used the rules, wins the whole contest, but just as incredible, Luke Stoltman methodically did all 10 to be the slowest person to do all 10, getting 11 points in about 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and getting second place overall with his brother Tom right below him. They get, at least last year, second and third got, 35 and 15, I believe. Yeah, 35,000 for second place last year and 15 for second. So that's a nice payday for the Stoltman brothers. I think they're going to be celebrating that they get about 50 grand combined. Of course, Kielikowski gets 75. The thing that hampers that is the bicep tear. Will he be ready for the Arnold in March? Probably not quite. Hopefully, Worlds is a little after, gives him time to heal. But I mean, the Polish guys, everyone over there seems to heal at a just completely different rate than people. So I wouldn't be shocked if he competes next weekend and it looks like nothing happened. It just doesn't. It defies logic how they do. Ending up in 4th place, a solid performance. Brian Shaw should not retire, how people say. It just looks like his deadlift's not good because the hamstring. He looked great in the log, other than that, that controversy there with the 3rd rep. Truck pull, solid performance. Atlas stones, solid performance. Very consistent. 55.5 points for Kielikowski, 50.5 for Luke Stoltman, 47.5 for Tom Stoltman. Brian Shaw, 44.5, so he would have been around 41 if they didn't give him that 3rd log, I believe. Rano Hanma, 42.5. Alexei Novikov, 42.5. JF Kron, 39 with 0 in the log. So if he would have got it, he would have been around 45. So yeah, they pretty much would have swapped JF and Shaw. And that's just kind of how it goes, Squeaky wheel gets the grease. Shivlikov, solid, JF Kron's 7th place for 39. Novikov, 6th place, 42.5. Shivlikov, 8th, 35. Belsack, 31.5 for 9. Rahman, 31 for 10. Iron Bibby, 28. Didn't do the stones. Don't know if there's an injury. Just didn't want to do them because he's been bad at them in the past. Radzikowski, 24. Jerry Pritchett, 21.5. Terry Hollins, 15. Awesome day. I'm not trying to be critical of any of the athletes or World's Ultimate Strongman, just saying how I feel, how I saw things. I could be off on things. There's also, of course, stuff I don't know. A lot of this information is from an unofficial spreadsheet by a fan. I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. You can correct me in the comments. I know you watch this, but I appreciate the work you do. Eli Forner, nice guy. He puts a lot of effort into this. Also, of course, check out startingstrongman.com, store.startingstrongman.com, and a lot of the good information is also on the r/strongman Reddit. So if you go there, check that out. And exciting day. World Strongman, Kielikowski, his first world title, as I predicted. I thought the Stoltmans were going to do good. I think it's a big shock. Luke got second. But he's just showing, he's just improving, even though Tom's kind of overshadowing him because he's 5 inches taller. Sometimes, the big brother just knows all his little tricks to still beat the little big brother. Stoltman, Brian Shaw, 4th. The little log controversy, but still a step up, a step forward in what we've seen from him at these past contests. And I guess the next big contest coming up is the Arnold Santa Monica. And looking at this, I think it's going to be between, like Shaw and Lisi's, and so let's see who's ready to go, what the events are. It's going to be wild. One of them is not going to go to the Arnold Classic. and they would, you have 4 times world's strongest man and, multiple time Arnold champion either not going or the current world's strongest man not going. And that's what we're going. I'm actually going to be there. So I'm going to stop talking. I got to go take my son to the park. If you like these, go to patreon.com/startingstrongman and like and subscribe, and please share the videos as well.